Guys, so it's time to talk about the Ozark Trail multi-tool. This thing is $4. It's actually less than $4 before tax. That's amazing. Let me start off by saying I've never purchased a multi-tool that was cheaper than $4 that was this size. Okay, I've gotten like $1.99 multi-tools, you know, little pocket ones. Those are total junk, by the way. But I also have purchased in my lifetime $20 or $30 multi-tools that were this size that were just basically the same quality as this. Cheap, you know? Is this a great multi-tool? No, of course it's not. It's $4. But I will say this, half of it's functional. Okay, and that's saying a lot. So we're gonna go through all the details, of course, here. But I have to stress that for $4, it's really hard to critique. Okay, half the tools in here work perfectly fine. The other half don't. But that same thing can be said for the $20 or $30 multi-tools that are out there. Some of them, not all of them. There's always good deals to be had, but there's always, you know, rip-off items and there's cheap items everywhere. They're overpriced. So first off, let's talk about the sheath. Again, for $4, it's amazing that it comes with a sheath. And the sheath is actually really good quality. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's a cheap little thin strap on the back, you know, for your belt. But hey, it works. It's actually great quality. The stitching has not come apart at all. I've purchased multi-tools, flashlights, knives that came with sheaths that were worse than this, and they were way up there as far as price in comparison. All right, so the sheath is actually really nice. And worst case scenario, I'd pay $4 just for the sheath. So even if you bought this thing and threw this out, you got a purposeful sheath for whatever you want that's gonna fit in it. All right, so let's put that off to the side. Let me also point out that this came with this little, you know, card in there. So this shows you what all the tools are, just in case you don't know. See, long nose pliers, standard pliers, wire cutter, knife, bottle opener, can opener, Phillips screwdriver, all, file, saw, medium slotted screwdriver, small slotted screwdriver. All right, so those are all your tools, in case you didn't know. All right, so first off, let me point out the fact that this is actually a spring-loaded multi-tool, or the spring-loaded plier portion of it, okay? That's really cool. It is really, really awesome. Again, I've had, you know, expensive multi-tools, Leatherman, SOG, you know, that don't have the spring action. I really like this spring, all right? And since I've been using this, it hasn't worn out or anything. I would imagine that this could, you know, pop out. It's just in little slots, so, you know, be careful. You know, if you accidentally poke that with something, I don't know how, but hey, it's possible. That goes shooting out, you could pop it right back in. But yeah, it's nice that this is spring-loaded, okay? So obviously when you're using this one-handed, it's more convenient. You go to grab something, you don't have the right grip on it, you have to change your grip or let go of it, whatever. It's easier to use one-handed as opposed to having to pry that back open your fingers and then re-shut it. I've gone through lots of multi-tools in my lifetime, and I would say the majority of them are not spring-loaded. The ones that I had that were spring-loaded were pretty cool. I think I had one that was by Coast. Again, it was a cheapo, you know, at least in quality. It was definitely more expensive than this. It was actually 2 or 3 times the price of this, if not more. It was blue, and I liked it because it was spring-loaded. And I found myself using that more than the Leatherman I had at the time. And I can't remember the model. I don't know if it was the Wave. I forget. But it was just for the plier portion anyway. You know, I just kind of gravitated towards the ones that were spring-loaded. All right, so let's zoom in here on the head. It's important that the teeth line up in your multi-tool. And this one, believe it or not, is really not that bad. Again, for $4, these teeth right here line up better than definitely some more expensive options out there, at least the ones I've had. And again, being that this is so inconsistent because it's so cheap and mass-produced, I'd like your feedback. Let me know if your teeth line up as good as that, or better, or worse. But they seem to actually line up fairly well. All right, not super tight. You can see the gap in the front there. Okay, but yeah, not bad for $4. Okay, so this is the main thing. If you carry a multi-tool like this, you're probably carrying it because you use pliers a lot or find the usefulness of a pair of pliers. Okay, so that's the main reason why you'd carry something like this. Otherwise, you probably, you know, gravitate more towards Swiss Army knives and things of that nature. But as far as the tools in this, let's go one by one. Okay, I did use most of the tools in here, not all of them. I did try using this knife, and it sucked. This is their serrated knife. All right, this thing is dull. Okay, look, I'm dragging. I don't know how I can actually show you this, but it's dull. Okay. Actually, it feels good, like to scratch yourself with. I should not be scratching myself with a serrated blade. Okay, that thing is dull. It looks sharp. This is a great movie prop. You know, they have to use those, you know, they want the knives to look nice and scary and shiny, but they're dull as hell. Well, this is that. This is a great movie prop. All right. So yeah, it's dull. It's kind of pointy. Not really. But yeah, totally useless. This literally rips things. It barely rips it open. You're better off using the flathead screwdriver to cut something open than this. So this is complete fail, total junk. Let's move on. Okay, the flathead screwdriver. This is great for scraping and prodding and poking. As far as the actual screwdriver head, you can see it's kind of rounded, which is not good if you want a precise job. If you're turning a small screw, especially if it's a cheap screw, it will strip out if it's not a good fit. Okay, so this being rounded is not necessarily good, but guess what? It is functional. Can't say that about the blade. Okay, so small flathead, functional. See larger flathead, same deal. Try to get this to focus. You can see that better, but it's very rounded off. Again, functional, but slippery, just doesn't quite fit, as well as a better quality screwdriver. The file. The file did not use, so I cannot speak to the file's performance. Okay. You can see here how it looks. Wouldn't go prying with any of these tools, by the way. On a quality multi-tool, in a pinch, you can use something like the file to very lightly pry. I've had files snap, by the way, so don't take this as advice. Oh, Jeff said I can pry with my file. No, I'm just saying the screwdrivers, the files, any of these tools that happen to fit in an emergency, well, not emergency, but you know, in a pinch. Let's just put it that way. I've been in situations where I need to pry something. Definitely wasn't going to use my knife. Had a multi-tool on me. Figured out what the hell. Go for it. And I've like 50-50 chance. Sometimes it works out great. And other times, like I said, I've had files snap off. And quality files too. Doesn't have to be something cheap. So look on the other side. We have our plain edge blade. Now our plain edge blade, it was slightly better, but still. I'm not putting as much pressure on, but you can see that I'm dragging it across my hand. Come on, I should be filleted open, bleeding, probably crying a little bit, making some kind of noise anyway. Here's the big joke. Look at that tip. Can you see it? No, I can't. It's not there. There is no tip. Extremely blunt. Okay, this, however, will rip open boxes. I know because I've tried, as opposed to the serrated version. All right, so slightly better. Let's say if the serrated version was a 0 on a scale from 1 to 10, this is like a 0.5, maybe a 1. Put it that way. All right, so again, not excited about that, not happy about it at all. But hey, if you're paying $4 for a multi-tool, you might as well pay another $4 and get one of those knives because they are sharp. They just don't last that long. But if you can sharpen them, you're good to go. Phillips, same complaint. It's functional, but it's a little bit rounded on some of the edges there, so it ends up being less effective than a better quality one. The awl is none, okay, because this thing would not poke through a piece of cotton. It's completely dull. Even this side here, it's just the whole thing is dull. This would be okay little pry tool until it actually snapped, but this is not an awl. There's no point whatsoever. If you tried to use this like an awl, you would be extremely dissatisfied and probably mar up whatever you're trying to do anyway. You'd just be really pissed off. All right, horrible tool. Does not work at all. Go figure. Can opener does actually work. I know because I tried it. Bottle opener, did not try it, but hey, it looks like it works, right? So that's the tool setup in this little multiplier multi-tool, or plier multi-tool, I guess they call it. So, you know, for $4, is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it, but you have to kind of realize where it fits in. Like, this would be good for maybe a backup multi-tool, you know, throw it in the glove box, the car, the truck, maybe in the fishing, you know, tackle box, whatever. I wouldn't rely on it. I definitely wouldn't add this to your emergency bags or survival bags or military bags, if I can reach around the tripod there for my fat air quotes. Yeah, you know, if you want to try it out, for $4, yeah, the main feature here is the pliers. The pliers are awesome. For $4, these beat any other pliers for $4. How do I know? I've never seen another set of pliers like this for $4, but I imagine if there were, this would probably be better. So I do like them for that. But as I pointed out, some of the tools are just completely non-existent. They might as well not be there at all. But I kind of imagine that they're not there. Another thing I could say too is that when using this, using the pliers and gripping down hard, it is very uncomfortable. It's not the first pair of pliers I've experienced this with, but this open frame like this, like some of the SOGs have like a flat part that opens so you can access your tools and you put it back down. So it literally, the purpose of it is so it's more comfortable when you're squeezing. Because you can imagine if you're gripping and you're twisting something or torquing it, you're putting a lot of pressure. If I squeeze this really, really hard, you can see the lines, you know, in my hand and fingers, because all that pressure is being put on these two somewhat sharp edges. This edge right here is probably sharper than that combo or that serrated blade. I mean, it's that ridiculous. So yeah, a little on the uncomfortable side for harder use, but hey, you're probably not going to want to use this for harder use anyway. You know, might damage what you're trying to do, whatever project you're working on, or worse, you can hurt yourself. So the thing snapped, maybe, who knows, pinch your finger, cut yourself open, who knows. But yeah, so a little uncomfortable there. The tools inside, make believe they're not there because they're not really useful at all, except for the can opener and possibly these screwdrivers. But you know, it's mainly for the pliers. For $4 though, it's so hard to really critique it and say, nah, it's not worth it. It's totally worth it for $4. If nothing else, it's fun to play with around the house. You need quick pair of pliers somewhere, or you want another set of pliers, but you don't want to go out and spend another 60 bucks, 80 bucks, whatever on a good pair. Yeah, maybe this fits that bill. But very, very important note, do not rely on these for anything that's important. Okay, like I said, these should be considered more of a novelty than a tool. But for $4, hey, you know, we've all spent more than $4 on a novelty before. So I can't say I'm dissatisfied for, you know, spending the $4. But, you know, it is what it is. So you guys get the point. That's the deal with the Ozark Trail pliers or multi-tool. Let me know your feedback. I'm not the only person buying these things, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think of yours, how it compares. Again, these are so inconsistent because they're so mass-produced. Maybe your knife is sharper. You know, maybe your pliers sucked. I don't know, maybe yours didn't come with a spring in it. I have no idea. So I want to hear the feedback, and everyone watching this video, if you clicked on the video, you're probably interested in this. That's why you clicked on it, or you're super bored. Either way, I'm sure you want more information as well, so go down and look at the comments and see what other people are saying as well. So there you go. There's my review on the Ozark Trail multi-tool. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.